Test 1 2 3.
No, I was thinking this evening. You're gonna have to.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Insurance Benefits and Ledge Committee for Thursday, the 6th of July.
Thank you, Chair Robbins. This meeting is being conducted virtually and in person, so I will do a roll call of the trustees to confirm attendance. Trustees Kehoe, Green, and Oakham will not be joining us today. Mr. Knox.
Good morning, I'm here.
Mr. Santos. Ms. Gray. Mr. Bernstein.
Just unmuted. Yes, I'm here.
Mr. Sanchez. Ms. Greenwood. Mr. Harris.
Here.
Chair Robbins.
I'm present.
Staff participating in the meeting include CEO Santos Kryman, Deputy CEO Louis Lugo, AEOs JJ Popowich and Laura Guglielmo, Chief Counsel Stephen Rice, Legislative Affairs Officer Barry Liu, from Retiree Healthcare, Cassandra Smith, Director, and Kathy Magida, Consultants Stephen Murphy, Michael Zito, Debbie Donaldson from Siegel. Trustees, please use the raise your hand Zoom option to be placed in queue. At this time, we ask all meeting participants to mute your mics until you are ready to speak, and we may now proceed with the agenda.
Thank you very much. Call to order has been completed. Procedure for teleconference meeting attendance under AB 2449. You want to tell
Yes.
us what's happening there, Terry?
We have one request from trustee Bernstein for just cause caregiving to a child, and no requests were received for emergency circumstances.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bernstein. Welcome to the meeting remotely.
Thank you, Chair Robbins.
We're on to item 3A, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of June 7th. Need a motion.
I'll move approval.
Moved and seconded. Are there any changes? Seeing none, record your vote.
It passed.
Motion passed unanimously.
Well, I didn't. You want to just vote verbally or?
How did we vote?
Okay, and you do.
I'll do a roll call. Ms. Gray? Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Chair Robbins?
Yes.
Motion passed unanimously.
All right. Item 4, public comment. Now is the time for anyone wishing to address the committee from the public to do so. Terry, do we have any?
I do not have any requests.
No requests orally or in writing. Thank you very much. Non-consent items, number 5A, legislative proposal, prepaid cards. Mr. Liu.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair Robbins and committee trustees. So this is a proposal related to prepaid accounts. As you know, the Board of Retirement recently selected a vendor to provide prepaid account services for LACERA. This would be another option to disperse payments. But we, in reviewing SURO, we understand that SURO is silent as far as providing for the use of prepaid cards. It provides for paper checks and direct deposits. So what this proposal would do is basically clarify in SURO that retirement systems are able to use prepaid card accounts to disperse benefits. While the prepaid card program is being implemented, at the same time, it would be prudent to have SURO amended to do this. And so this proposal would go to SACRS for sponsorship in order to do the amendment in SURO.
So let me see if I understand what this is all about. 98% of our members are on direct deposit. 2% of our members get a hard check in their pension for their pension check. This is for the people that don't want to get a hard check, but yet don't have direct deposit. They use this prepaid card thing. Is that what this is all about?
Yes, that's correct. So basically, for that percentage of our members who are unbanked, so to speak, they are unable to establish a bank account. But at the same time, if they have problems getting a paper check or they want a different option to get the prepaid account, basically this would just clarify and show that we can disperse those benefits into a prepaid account.
Do we think they're going to want to do that? Do we have reason to believe that they're going to jump on this opportunity or?
So that remains to be seen.
Okay.
As I mentioned, the board did select a vendor to based on the RFP for prepaid accounts. So I think management intends to go forward with the program. So, but it's a matter of for SURO to just clarify that if members wish to do this, that option is available. But we want to make sure that SER was clear in that as a payment option.
Okay,
If I could just ask a question. So I get the concept, but so are they initially issued a card? Is that it? And then their pension
like a debit card.
money goes to this vendor who acts as a, in air quotes, bank. And so then they can just access their money through this card. Is that correct? You don't mail them like a card every month. They have an established card they get and you just continuously refill the bucket, if you will, every month with their pension or their pension payments.
So I'm not clear on the specifics of how we're implementing a program, but it appears that, yeah, sending them a card one time and then having that reloaded, that would, be the point of making this a better option than getting a paper check every month.
I understand the concept. So, okay, thank you.
You described it properly.
Yeah.
That's exactly, reload it. And I
I'll
think,
just add, if I can, just add this, that, especially during the pandemic, there were people we could not pay because we could not mail checks to them.
Yeah.
Right. We also routinely see delays in the post office delivering checks, and about 10 to 20 people per month call us, report they didn't get their check, it's lost, stolen, whatever. So hopefully this will be a one-time mailing of a card, which will be, filled every month with their benefit payment, and it will be no delay in them getting their benefits on time.
Good. Yeah. Good option.
can I also just add, if, at least for our active employees that have a healthcare insurance account, the county does offer that. And so they actually mail it to every active employee, and you can use it just like a credit card for all medical expenses. And so I think it's becoming the norm. And like JJ mentioned, we would like to transition everybody over to some electronic banking rather than paper checks.
All right, any other questions, comments?
I had a quick one, if you don't mind. Somebody not on the committee. Will the language be focused on a prepaid card? I just get concerned that over time, mailing physical cards won't be the norm anymore, and maybe it's just on an app or something like that. Would it be generic enough to say prepaid account, including card or similar form thereof, or something like that? I just wouldn't want it to be so specific.
Yeah, so it's basically, so what this does is it leverages off an existing definition of prepaid account that's used for unemployment benefits. So it's generic enough that, it could be a physical card or it could be a wallet app. That all depends on how the program operationally is implemented, but it's generic enough to basically it's prepaid account. So it's discrete enough from, say, direct deposit versus paper checks.
And recipients can transfer money out of that to wherever they want, or they just have to use it as a debit card?
They can transfer.
Okay. Thank you.
Like Apple Pay.
Mr.
Okay.
Santos has a question, I think.
Thank you very much. We're on. Oops, Herman. I just asked you a minute ago. Yeah.
But Mr. Knox triggered questions. So, we have read in the past several years how a lot of those cards have been hacked. And from what I have read, it did not appear to be as secure as we think. What makes this card so different than the ones that they have used for unemployment and others?
So I don't know if Mr. Popowich can maybe get into the details of that. I wasn't part of the RFP team on that, but I know there are various requirements in RFP on security and so forth.
So the card is actually issued through Comerica, which is a bank. The issues, I believe, with the unemployment was fraud in qualifying for the card to begin with. So they had these various farm operations, I'll call them a farm operation, where they submitted false verification for unemployment benefits, and then they issued a card. So obviously we have a direct connection to our members. So we have that benefit of already knowing who they are. But it's like any credit card without the credit part of it. So when you get the card, it functions like an actually better explanation. It would be like an ATM card using the MasterCard system, I believe. So you get the card issued to you. You get a PIN, just like you would get for your ATM card through your bank, and you'd be able to use it. And they have to follow all the banking regulations for debit card transactions. So it's Regulation E. They have to follow those. And it's again, it's issued through Comerica, which is a bank.
And so I had a case really quick, if I may, Mr. Chair. I had a case right on point on this, that they put skimming devices in the ATM openings, and that device extracts all the information about the individual, including obviously the money. They are able to copy those cards and use it at Best Buy or whatever to spend all the money that is in there. So that's something for us to think about.
These cards also, as a security function, they have the chip as well. So just like most of our bank accounts now, they have the card with the chip, which is supposed to help prevent that, because the card is supposed to be physically there when they use it.
Any other questions?
Anywhere you can use the MasterCard system.
Take these.
Sorry.
Gotta be summary.
Okay. Item 6A, semi-annual report
We need
on
a
approved
motion.
engagements.
Chair Robbins, we need a motion.
We need a motion.
I'll move.
I'll second. You can take the vote verbally?
You could actually vote in the live meeting tab. If not, Terry will do the roll call.
I'll just do the roll.
Oh, there it is. Okay, gotcha.
Everybody got it?
Oh, wait a
The
minute.
live meeting.
So where do I?
Mr. Robbins, would you like to reflect your vote as a yes?
So where do I?
Let's just say yes.
Yes.
You're.
The motion passed unanimously.
Says live meeting. You see where I'm pointing?
Where are you pointing?
Live meeting.
Live meeting.
Okay. Up here. And then over here.
You gotta be kidding me.
Let's just go back to it here.
Oh.
Let's just forget this and keep moving on here. Here, you're back on.
Oh, you just.
Yeah, but no voting.
I need to sit over.
Okay. Okay, it passed. We're on items 6A, Mr. Liu.
Thank you, Chair Robbins. So just a short report here on our improved engagements. This past January, we visited Congress for the first time since the pandemic started. I think Congress has finally started opening up more in-person visits. So we visited with members of the LA County delegation and other members as well. And again, reiterating our support for repealing the weapon, the GPO. And we also did a recap of how the Secure 2.0 Act's repeal of the public safety direct payment requirement was going to be helpful for us, in terms of giving our members another option to get the tax exclusion that doesn't require them to have their premiums directly deducted from their paychecks. And then as far as legislative positions are concerned, we recently at the board adopted a neutral position, AB 1020, which was for expanding the scope of the various service-connected disability presumptions. The author did take many of the amendments that we recommended that would provide just technical clarification to the disability presumptions. So the bill is moving along, but it's basically being supported by various safety member organizations. But at the same time, it's being opposed by the various accounting organizations, such as the California State Association of Counties. And so that concludes my comments on that report. Happy to take any questions.
So are you going to go down to B now or what?
Yeah, so next item will be B, the engagement report. So these items of interest for the committee. First one is Vermont's the latest state to adopt a workplace retirement plan, an auto IRA, that basically provides retirement savings for employees who don't have a plan. So they basically join states like California, Illinois, and Oregon Saves that have a plan in operation. But various other states are in different stages of establishing or enacting legislation to provide for these auto IRA programs. But it seems like this is a slow but steady trend for various states to do this. And next item, the Texas legislature recently approved a COLA for retired teachers. So, inflation is still an issue for many people. And as we can have seen in the last year or so, lots of retirement systems are dealing with this in one way or another. But Texas is providing lump sum benefits for retired teachers, as well as COLA increases of 2%, 4%, or 6%. Interestingly, these COLA increases would be subject to voter approval through a ballot proposition. So it remains to be seen if they're going to pass that or not. The next item is the NASRA, National Association of State Retirement Administrators. They have a very informative public safety plan data set that just gives a snapshot of all the public safety plans around the country. So some of the interesting statistics is that about 3.3 million people are employed in public safety jobs on a state and local level, but most of them, 2.6 million, are employed by local governments such as cities and counties. And the data set basically profiles 122 pension plans that have over 520 billion in assets. There's some interesting statistics about vesting periods and multipliers. They have California plans in the data set. LACERA is not included, but they included CalPERS, which is a large plan, the Orange County system, a mid-sized plan, and then the LA Fire and Police plan, a smaller independent plan. Next item is the Milliman has a monthly pension funding index that they release. So some interesting statistics about the funding ratio is between 74 to 73%. So the fluctuation in the last 8 months has been pretty kind of steady between 70 to 75%. But during the pandemic, there was a lot more volatility where it went from 66 to 85 and back to 69%. But otherwise, it kind of shows just statistics about the change in asset values and pension liabilities. And then the last item, it's about a pioneer in the investment world, Dr. Harry Markowitz, who recently passed away. If you're involved in investments, you know all about the concept of diversification, which is something that he had published in one of his landmark papers. So it's something that has basically, everybody in the investment world knows about that concept, where he talks about a relationship between risk and reward. And interestingly, he was interviewed by the New York Times for his obituary. I guess if you're famous enough, you get an interview, but he was interviewed in 2014, about 8 years ago when he was 87. So he finally passed away recently at age 95. So that concludes my report. I'm happy to take any questions.
So he was interviewed after he passed?
Oh, no, before he passed. I may have missed it. No, interview definitely before he passed, but 8 years ago. So I think what's interesting is he was still working on various things at that time. So kind of shows the importance of keeping engaged and active. That leads to a healthy lifespan.
If you don't mind, Mr. Chair, can I make a comment? The modern portfolio theory turned out to be not as efficient as everybody thought in 2008. And since then, that theory continues to be questioned. What I believe in the Board of Investments, we no longer follow that.
Don't speak ill of the dead.
Yeah, that's true.
Come on.
Especially because now we have alternatives. So.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you very much. Item C, staff activities report, Cassandra.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Nothing really on the staff activity report, although I did want to use this time to follow up on the email that you received from me this past Friday to find out if you had any questions. If you have not had opportunity to read that email, it was just informing you that Anthem Blue Cross had found an error in their system. And so they had provided access to their national coordination of benefit team to update their system. What that update did was actually to identify those, I guess, people in their system that didn't reflect with Medicare, but was of Medicare age. And so when those claims come in for those individuals, it would automatically, discount using the Medicare rates. However, our team are very aware that not all county employees are eligible for Medicare. And so when questioned, they found that, you know, our claims are processed differently. And so they've put something in place for them to not pursue that as far as LACERA Group, and let members know that contact us, or if you get any calls or emails from members stating that they've gotten this letter, that they can disregard it. I had planned and hoped to have an updated status on that for you today. However, after speaking with Anthem yesterday, they are still looking, because one of the things that I asked about was an impact report to find out how many of our members may have gotten that letter. That's going to take them some time, as well as I asked, were they going to be sending out another letter letting them know that that was sent out in error and that it did not apply to our account. So if you do hear any members asking about it or talking about it, it has no impact on our members. And with that, that's it.
Well, I didn't get one, and I haven't heard from anybody who's gotten one, so maybe that's a good thing.
So far, we've only gotten 2 calls, so I'm hoping it's pretty minimal, but I wanted to make sure beforehand, so.
Any further questions for Cassandra? Okay, what else? Is that it? You got more?
That was it. Just real quick, if you want, I can give you an update on our temps that we have that we hired in May. All of them are doing really, really well. We've had them take their first test and all of them fared up 98%. They are now taking call center calls in tandem with senior reps, listening in and working with them. So they're taking the calls from our members now. Again, all answering just as we would like them to. Those that are set to be processing, those are also starting, embarking on doing in production enrollments, with those being monitored from our QC area. So I'm really happy to say we're doing really, really well. Thank you again.
Good to hear. They ought to get combat pay for handling some of those calls.
I have a real quick question. How long did we train them? In other words, do they now understand what to say to our seniors if they call about healthcare, since they are temps?
Yeah, they have been with us since May 1st. So since May up until just towards the end of June, that was strictly training.
Okay.
And now we have them breaking in and talking with the members. However, like I said, it's in tandem. So we do have a senior person on the line listening in, and they're able to DM them if there's something that they need to remind the members this, or don't forget to tell the members that.
Chair Robbins?
Any other questions?
Yes, Chair.
This is-
I just wanted to emphasize there are trainees. They're not temps. In my mind, they're a little
count,
different.
yeah.
So they're part of the
Correct.
trainees that ultimately will be hired full time, right?
Right, the county.
Okay, so they're not temps.
Yeah.
Right. But I did want to mention and just reiterate that the training program has changed. So about a year ago, we separated the pension training with the retired healthcare training. And so the reason that we're able to get them on the phone sooner is because it's highly intense, focused
Healthcare.
training on the healthcare issues only. They don't delve into the pension benefits calculations and that, so on and so forth. And so we have 2 separate tracks, so to speak. And so that's helped with making sure that we bring people in production sooner rather than later.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Seeing none, we're on item D, claims experience. Michael, you're up.
Okay. The first page contains the premium and enrollment, and there's been minimal change compared to the prior month's report. Next page, please. The year over year, this contains the claims experience by carrier for Anthem. The year over year trend increased from 4.5% to 6.5% when compared to the prior month's report. For Cigna, the year-over-year trend decreased from 6.6% to 4.9% when compared to the prior month's report. And Kaiser's experience remains unchanged from the prior month's report. Next page, please. For all Anthem plans on an aggregate basis, the year-over-year trend increased from 6% to 8% when compared to the prior month's report. Next page, please. And the Kaiser utilization remains unchanged from the prior month's report. Next page, please. The high cost claimant, this contains the high cost claimant report. The Anthem's year-over-year trend increased from 137.5% to 156.3% when compared to the prior month's report. For Cigna's year-over-year trend decreased by 7.6% compared to an increase of 3.4% in the prior month's report. And the Kaiser year-over-year trend remains unchanged from the prior month's report. Next page, please. The rebates remain unchanged from the prior month's report. Next page, please. The dental claim trend decreased from 4.8% to 3.7% when compared to the prior month's report. The vision claims year-over-year trend increased to 1.7% compared to a year-over-year trend decrease of 0.4% in the prior month's report. Thank you.
Anyone have any questions? The numbers are up.
So, Michael, I'd add, I think we have one more month of reporting to conclude the current plan year. As of July, we're beginning a brand new plan year. So again, looking at this stuff on a rolling 12 months gives us a good sense of where the claims are trending. And again, I think we're probably where we ought to be, and nothing too alarming at this point in time. But again, we'll continue to monitor those results, and also I think what we see across kind of the state and nationally to provide other trends as we see them. So we'll keep you up to date on that.
Okay. Item E, federal legislation.
I can be really efficient this morning. I have nothing to add. We appreciate that. You're
Unbelievable.
welcome.
Items for staff review, number 7.
I have nothing.
Nothing for staff review. Items for future agendas.
I have nothing for that.
Nothing there. Good of the order. Anyone have anything for good of the order, or with us wait until the next meeting? With that, need a motion to adjourn. We are adjourned.
Staff, how long would you like before we start the BOR meeting?